the Indian Parliament consists of the President, both the houses, and as I told you कि ये नाम lower house और upper house हमारे यहाँ ज़्यादा मीनिंग नहीं है इसका, हमारे यहाँ ज़्यादा अच्छा मीनिंग होगा लोकसभा, राज्यसभा, House of the People, Council of State, because we are a federal polity, unlike Britain. Britain has a unitary form of government, and these are the major functions of the Parliament: providing the Council of Ministers, holding the Council of Ministers responsible, criticizing the Council of Ministers, platform for debate, deliberation, discussion, organ of information, organ of legislation, financial control over the government. Okay. Now, there could be other functions also of the Parliament, but these are the major functions of the Parliament. Of these functions, if you see that the most important function is that the Parliament is the organ of legislation. No other body can make laws. The President can make laws, but such laws will have only temporary effect. I'm talking about ordinances. Ordinances are actually laws, but they will only have temporary effect. The laws made by the Parliament have permanent effect. Got it? What do we mean by the word session in the Parliament? Session in the Parliament is the number of working days of the Parliament counted from its first sitting to the last sitting. There could be any number of sittings in a particular session. Do you understand that? The Parliament, sorry, the Constitution says that 6 months shall not lapse between two sessions of the Parliament. It means the Indian Parliament must meet at least twice a year. 2 बार तो Parliament को मिलना ही पड़ेगा. Do you understand that? But if we look in India, the Parliament meets at least 3 times. There could be other cases also जहाँ पे Parliament की special sitting बुला ली जाए. But by convention, you see the Parliament meets at least 3 times. And therefore, there are 3 sessions in India. The first one is the budget session. The year commences with this session. Then comes the monsoon session. And then we have the winter session. Do you understand that? अगर आप देखोगे तो सबसे ज़्यादा bills जो हैं वो budget session में mostly pass होते हैं. सबसे important bill भी होता है उसमें the annual financial statement on revenue and expenditure or the union budget. जब budget ही नहीं pass होगा तो देश चलाओगे कैसे? So in terms of importance, if you see, the most important session is the budget session, right? I'm not saying the other sessions are not important, but technically, from the technical point of view, the budget session is the most important session. एक चीज और ध्यान में रखो, no categorization of this kind is mentioned in the constitution. This is as per convention. Okay, ऐसे होता है. देखो, the difference between or the time period between one session and another session. Suppose this was session number 1, this was session number 2, and this is the gap between the 2 sessions. This is known as the recess of the Parliament. ठीक है? जो ordinance issue करते हैं, वो recess में ही कर सकते हैं. At least one of the houses should be not in session. Do you understand that? It means there should be at least recess for one house or for both the houses. It means a condition should prevail wherein the Parliament cannot enact a law. That is when President comes into the picture and uses his extraordinary power under Article 123 and legislates through ordinances. But keep this in mind that the life of an ordinance is 6 weeks from the date of its issue. Okay? अच्छा, ध्यान में रखो इस बात को that who calls for the session? It's the President. The President summons the session of both the houses of the Parliament. The President prorogues the sessions of both the houses of the Parliament. What is prorogation? Prorogation is ending of a session. Do you understand that? And President has the right to dissolve the lower chamber of the Union Legislature or the lower house of the Parliament. So the President has the right to summon and prorogue both the houses of the Parliament and the right to dissolve the Lok Sabha. इस चीज को ध्यान में रखो आप. Now look here very carefully. हर sitting जो है, there could be any number of sittings in a particular session. There is nothing mandated in the Constitution कि एक session में इतनी sitting होनी चाहिए. आप चाहे 10 दिन रख लो, 12 दिन रख लो, 15 रख लो, 25 रख लो, कितने भी रख लो. Doesn't matter. Constitution only says one thing, 6 months shall not lapse between two sessions. It means the parliament must meet at least twice a year. But the constitution does not say that for how many days in a particular year the parliament must meet. It means जैसे 40 दिन का तो working होना ही चाहिए, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. बस ये कहा गया आप एक सेशन रखो एक दिन का, फिर उससे 6 महीने के अंदर अंदर एक और सेशन रख लो एक दिन का, हो गया. बस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन यही कहता है आपको. बट ऑब्वियसली द पीपल ऑफ द कंट्री विल बी वाचिंग कि यू आर मेकिंग अ मॉकरी ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी. Do you understand that? So generally the length of the sessions, if you see, they're not more than 12 to 15 days. और उसमें भी आपको पता है 12 से 15 दिन में 6-7 दिन तो पार्लियामेंट चलने ही नहीं देते. ठीक है, तो 12 से 15 दिन ही होता है मोस्टली एक सेशन का. तो आप अगर टोटल तीनों सेशन को करोगे तो इट्स लाइक 30-35 डेज. Because for the other days the ministers want to work. Do you understand that? ये तो मतलब एक तरीके से आप समझ लो एक ऐसा ऑफिस है समझो जहां पे सिर्फ मीटिंग ही मीटिंग होती रहती, काम नहीं होता, सिर्फ सब कोई मीटिंग कर रहे हैं रोज. तो ऐसा भी तो नहीं हो सकता. Do you get that? So that's why this is the meeting time, say for example, and the other days are the working days. Now, who terminates the daily sitting within a particular session? It's the presiding officer of the house. Now that could be speaker or deputy speaker in the case of Lok Sabha, chairman or deputy chairman in the case of Rajya Sabha. ठीक है, अब एक चीज देखो ध्यान से. When the Lok Sabha is dissolved, it ends all businesses that is pending before the house. It means all the notices, all the motions, all the resolution, ये सब हम समझेंगे आगे. All the bills, everything that is pending before the house gets removed with the dissolution of the Lok Sabha. ठीक है, but there is a slight caveat in this. I'll talk about that in a moment. Prorogation, it terminates all the notices, all the motions, all the resolutions, but it does not impact the bills. मतलब आपने कोई बिल इंट्रोड्यूस किया था बजट सेशन में पर वो पास नहीं हो पाया, उससे ही पहले समझ लो प्रोरॉग हो गया सेशन. ठीक है, अगला सेशन में जब आप आएंगे तो उस बिल को वापस इंट्रोड्यूस करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी बिकॉज यू हैव ऑलरेडी इंट्रोड्यूस्ड द बिल. गॉट इट? सो प्रोरॉगेशन हैज नो इम्पैक्ट on the life of the bill. In England, prorogation also wipes out all business pending before the House. In India, the bills are expressly saved as far as prorogation is concerned. Dissolution wipes out all the business that is pending before the House. Adjournment has no impact on the businesses. It means nothing is wiped out, be it notices, motions, resolutions or bills. कुछ भी नहीं impact होता adjournment में. Adjournment is simply postponement. Do you understand that? That the thing which is pending before the House will be considered after few hours, few days, few weeks. ऐसा ही होता है. ठीक है, like adjournment ये भी हो सकता है कि जैसे आपने देखा होगा the House is adjourned till 2 p.m. ऐसे भी बोलते हैं. ठीक है, मतलब 10 बजे हाउस मेट और 11 o'clock द हाउस मेट and 11:05 suppose there is a ruckus in the parliament, the presiding officer says that the house is adjourned till 2 p.m. or suppose there is lack of quorum, it means minimum attendance भी नहीं हुआ, then the presiding officer might say that the house is adjourned till quorum is achieved in the house. एक adjournment होती है जिसे कहते हैं sine die. Sine die adjournment means that the house is ending its sitting, but I am not announcing when the house will again meet. So without the indication of its next meeting, if you adjourn the house, that is adjournment sine die. Got it? एक और चीज याद रखना, there is a motion called adjournment motion. Adjournment motion and adjournment are as different as apples and oranges. Adjournment का मतलब क्या होता है कि जो सिटिंग चल रही है वो एंड होती है. Adjournment motion ये होता है कि a particular member is bringing to the notice of the house about a very important issue and it wants the house to debate on that issue. Okay, that is adjournment motion. We'll talk about all kinds of motions, don't worry, in the class. So that's the scenario as far as prorogation, dissolution and adjournment are concerned. Dissolution और prorogation का power किसके पास है? President के पास. Whereas adjournment का किसके पास है? प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर के पास है। डिसोल्यूशन में सब कुछ खत्म हो जाता है, प्रोरोगेशन में सब कुछ, बट एक चीज बच जाती है, क्या? बिल। और एडजर्नमेंट में कोई भी बिजनेस इंपैक्ट नहीं होता। एडजर्नमेंट इज जस्ट पोस्टपोनमेंट ऑफ द नेक्स्ट बिजनेस, गॉट इट? दैट इज पेंडिंग बिफोर द हाउस। अब डिसोल्यूशन में एक इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है, वो ध्यान से देखो। व्हाट काइंड ऑफ बिल्स आर डिसॉल्व्ड? See, bills which originated in the Lok Sabha and are pending before the Lok Sabha. First type of bills. They end with dissolution of the Lok Sabha. Bills which originated in the Lok Sabha, passed by the Lok Sabha and are pending before the Rajya Sabha. ये दूसरी तरीके के bill. These are also wiped out. Obviously, because if suppose Rajya Sabha amends the bill, and then such an amended bill will be sent back to Lok Sabha, and there is no Lok Sabha. So therefore, that bill also dies out. Bills which originated in the Rajya Sabha, passed by the Rajya Sabha, and are pending before the Lok Sabha, they are also wiped out. Because there is no Lok Sabha, how these bills would become a law? But the bills which originated in the Rajya Sabha and are pending before the Rajya Sabha are saved. क्योंकि इस पे तो कोई काम हुआ ही नहीं अभी तक. Do you understand that? So keep this in mind. ये ध्यान रखना आप अच्छे से. Bills which originated in Lok Sabha, pending before the Lok Sabha, gone. Bills originated in the Lok Sabha, passed by the Lok Sabha, transmitted to the Rajya Sabha, gone. Bills originated in the Rajya Sabha, passed by the Rajya Sabha, pending before the Lok Sabha, gone. Bills originated in the Rajya Sabha, pending before the Rajya Sabha, on which Rajya Sabha has taken no action, survives. ठीक है? On dissolution. ये एक special category of bill है जो बच जाती है even when the house of the people is dissolved. Now, when we talk about joint sitting of both the houses, keep this in mind that the president summons the joint sitting of both the houses to resolve a deadlock. And Article 108 talks about the joint sitting or the provision of joint sitting in the parliament. Remember, Article 108 clause 1 says that there will not be the provision of joint sitting as far as constitution amendment bills are concerned. There will not be any case of joint sitting. अब देखो, joint sitting, is that affected when the house is dissolved? It means the Lok Sabha is dissolved. Is that affected? It is not affected even if the house is dissolved, provided that the president issued his intention of holding the joint sitting prior to the date of dissolution. मतलब ये समझ के देखो, ये समझ लो 10th of January को लोक सभा डिसॉल्व हो गया. और किसने किया डिसॉल्व? प्रेसिडेंट ने ही किया. किसकी एडवाइस पे किया? काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स की एडवाइस पे किया. ठीक है. अब देखो, हो सकता है 8th Jan को प्रेसिडेंट ने ये बोला था कि एक पर्टिकुलर बिल है, ऑर्डिनरी बिल ही होगा ऑब्वियसली. इन मनी बिल देयर इज नो जॉइंट सिटिंग, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अमेंडमेंट बिल देयर इज नो जॉइंट सिटिंग. सो ऑर्डिनरी बिल है जिसके लिए जॉइंट सिटिंग होनी है. तो प्रेसिडेंट ने बोला कि 8 तारीख को हम जॉइंट, मतलब ऐसे समझ लो 16th January को हम जॉइंट सिटिंग करेंगे. 8 तारीख को ये डिक्लेयर कर दिया प्रेसिडेंट. लेकिन 10 तारीख को क्या हुआ? लोकसभा ही डिसॉल्व हो गया. स्टिल द जॉइंट सिटिंग विल टेक. Do you understand that? That's the constitution. That's what the constitution says, that the dissolution of the Lok Sabha shall not affect the holding of a joint sitting of both the houses of the parliament to resolve a deadlock on a particular bill, provided that the president declared his intention to hold the joint sitting before the date of dissolution of the Lok Sabha. ठीक है?